Now I'd like to be able to include some CSS and JavaScript in this app. So I'm going to create new folders inside the public directory for CSS and JavaScript. And then I'm going to put some basic CSS in here. We'll call it styles.css. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the font family to Comic Sans MS. I'm really not worrying about how my page looks at this point. I just want to make sure that my CSS is working. And then in this JavaScript file, I'm just going to put a little piece of JavaScript. Again, that doesn't really do anything. I just want to make sure that it's working. In order to be able to include this in my index.html, I'm going to need to tell Express where to find static files. So a static file is anything like CSS, JavaScript, potentially even HTML that isn't really involved with the server. It's called static because it's just being served up. There's nothing else being done to it. To do that, I'm going to put express.static in here. And the first argument in here, this is saying when someone tries to get a static asset at this URL, in this case the URL is slash, Express should look inside this directory, in this case the public directory, for that particular asset. So if I go into my index.html, if I try to load a static asset at slash, so this one begins with slash, Express is now going to look inside slash for a folder called CSS, and inside that for a file called styles.css. Let's see if it worked. And it did. I can see my Comic Sans is functioning appropriately. So now I'm going to try to do the same thing with JavaScript, this little app.js. And if I reload the page here and open up my Chrome console, I can see that hello world that I put in that little JavaScript file. So I can see that it is successfully loading assets. If I change this first argument to, say, /assets, then I would need to put /assets here and /assets there as well in order for it to show up the same way. If I did it the way I have it now, it would no longer work and would tell me that I can't find those files. I'm just using slash here instead of /assets just because it's less for me to write. So that's one more commit, adding in these static files. Git commit added static assets. And I'll push that to GitHub.